Well, good morning. Thought we'd better do a little Fleabay edition. We're running late this week, but there's a couple of things that I've watched, several things I've watched over the last few days. They were listed 2 or 3 days ago. And I thought they were interesting, and this is more a review of a seller more than it is just items, because this is the same seller with all of these. And when we look at milling machines, when I'm looking at milling machine parts here, which is primarily what we're going to look at, we'll touch on a couple other things if we see anything interesting, but there's a seller that's parting out a Atlas mill. And looking at these parts, these are pretty scabby parts. These are pretty ragged, and it's back to the same old thing. I feel like if they were left on the machine was sold as a complete machine, it would be a feasible machine to go through and restore and make a good functional machine out of it. Some of this parts I think would have been worth doing. The parts themselves are pretty ragged, but like I say, if it would have been complete, it would have been worthwhile, I think, going back through them. So we'll look at a few of these parts and see what we see here. So if we look at Atlas milling machines, there's a couple that are just normal things. There is a motor base here that's pre-owned, $134.95. This has been listed several times. I think this is about the third time I've seen this listing. I think it started out like $149, $143 something, and as always when it didn't sell, why it's come down, which $134.95 is still way too much in $20 shipping, $18.95. Okay, original Atlas 6-inch lathe and milling machine, M6-427 countershaft pulley, $80 and $9.50 shipping. Actually, I'm not even going to look at some of these. This is from that seller that I talked about earlier. I think all of these parts are overpriced, but there's some things that I feel are misleading here. As always, I think there's things that are misleading. If we go down here, there's a milling machine M131 spindle assembly with bearings used. Now, with bearings, which we don't care. We're going to replace these bearings anyway if we're doing anything. $129.99 and $9.50 shipping. Now, these next couple of listings I think are very misleading here. Now, this one in and of itself is not misleading other than the fact that things are omitted from it. Now, it looks pretty oily and greasy and scabbed up. Description, Atlas milling machine M131 spindle with bearings, used condition. Now we've gotten away from saying excellent, so these guys are watching what I'm doing, which is why I get a thumbs down almost immediately on every one of these Fleabay edition videos I put on. So I would imagine it's probably a Fleabay seller here that's giving me those. That's another impression I get from eBay. I'd like to thank you for helping me growing the channel by giving me the negative feedback, those thumbs down. That helps just as much as a thumbs up does. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. It allows me to continue to review the products that some of these sellers are selling. So anyway, let's look at the picture, and there's only one picture here. And it's a little bit out of focus, which there's several of these pictures that are out of focus. Now that may be an oversight, that can happen. All you see is a picture of this outside of the spindle here, shows the two bearings. Now there's no races, so there again, crap bearings anyway, you're going to throw them away. There's a spindle, and it appears to be the spindle done on the outside. These parts look kind of ragged, which is not unusual at all. You know, I mean, this is an as disassembled thing, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. The problem that I have with this is, what's the condition of the bore of the spindle? What's the Morse taper look like in the end? So that immediately discounts it to me. I'm not even going to look any further at purchasing a used part, even if I was in the market for this, because you can't see what's inside that spindle. So chances are, with looking at the rest of the condition, the inside of the bore is on that Morse taper is probably pretty ragged. So how concentric are you going to run? How, has it been bored out? Has it previously been reamed out? You don't know what the condition of it is at all. So that's a piece of scrap. It's just literally a piece of scrap. $129.99 and $9.50 shipping. $139 for a piece of scrap iron. Don't waste your time. And this is a seller that's got 100% feedback. He builds a bunch of new parts. He sells occasionally some used parts. Not occasionally, he does sell used parts here too. But I would shy away from that one. That's a that's an ugly spindle. You know, and I can't say that it's necessarily ugly. It's just it's unusable. You know, you don't know what the condition is. It's not described well enough. You know, it's worth $10 as a piece of scrap iron for you. Now the next one's another one, milling machine M1-250X back gear assembly used. Now this is a complete, well, it's fairly complete back gear assembly. It's got the gears, which there's two gears. There's a spline on the end of the shaft, and then the bigger gear. And it shows quite a bit of yuck on it. There's some corrosion there on the handle and everything. Now the thing that, and there again, this only has one picture of it. Description: condition milling machine, 250 back gear assembly, used condition. That's all they're telling you. So you got to make your own decisions. So it's got the shifting handle on it, which was a Zamek handle. It was chrome plated. This is a later model. It's got the plunger on it. The early ones didn't have a plunger knob on them. They had they were just the arm itself, and then there was a detent on the back side that engaged them, which is what's on my milling machine. And right now I'm having trouble with mine because it wants to jump out of gear. So I would imagine this later model was an improvement with the positive plunger. So anyway, that's the thing that I concentrate on. And this machine's been painted that puke green. There's some, on a lot of these parts, you'll see some of that green paint that's been slopped on things. Now, when you look at this handle, and all of these things have been beat. This machine's been beat up. And when you look at this handle, it's all well and fine because you don't see these handles, other than the fact that the ball's broken off the end on this down here in this area here. Why this handle's been broken. The plunger's gone. They've got a screw in here to retain it. This machine was probably really, really ragged. But there again, some of its parts, it might have been worth rebuilding. So at least someone should have had the opportunity to do that. Anyway, that's the problem I have with this. This seller knows better, you know. So what he's done is, rather than saying it's in used condition, excellent condition, whatever the case may be, they've taken that away and made it so you can make your own decisions. So that's part of the reason for doing these little videos like this, is to help you make an informed decision. So stay away from that. You know, not worth $100. Rip off. And all the gears and stuff. Spindle end gear used, $60. Large back gear used, $90. Nope. Now here's there's about 4 things here that are all, and this is all same seller, same parts. Now this is interesting. Original Atlas milling machine M1567 cutter arbor driver used. And there's 2 pictures here. We'll look at both of them. The description says original Atlas M1567 arbor driver as shown. This is a piece of shit. So you look at this arbor driver and it's all yucky looking. Most of that's just gunk rather than corrosion. But you look at the hole here in the side of it that you used to tighten and loosen it. That's had that piece of ill-fitting pin punch set in there or something to knock it off of there, and it's all chewed out. Second picture, same thing from the back, a little bit of that green paint. A little bit of that green paint in that same egged out hole there. So the thing that's interesting about this is $74.99 and $9.50 shipping. Now this same seller sells a reproduction of this part. Until month and a half ago, whatever it was, he sold a new reproduction for $59. And of course you got to bear in mind, you got to take this with a grain of salt, because I'm telling you this because I sell one for I think mine's $50 and shipping. So, and I've produced the same one for years and years. Like I say, I think I priced it at $50 and probably flat rate shipping, probably $7-8, something like that. And mine are blued up. They go through my bluing tanks, all that good stuff. And he sold a reproduction for $59.99. I don't believe it was blued. Don't believe it's still blued, but nonetheless, that's the way he sells them. And up until about a month and a half, 2 months ago, whatever the case may be, he sold those for $59. At that point in time, he had a huge price jump. They went up to $99. So, and Material prices have taken a tremendous jump. I'm paying just about twice what I was paying, say, a year ago for raw material, for stuff like this. So that's going to change the price of the material for that arbor driver from probably, well, we're going to do a full retail price, probably about $2 to, we'll say, $4. So we'll say material costs doubled, you know, so we'll be generous with everything in there. We'll say the materials for that piece are $5. And most of it is labor in machining. But how do you justify with labor costs if you're producing them in your own shop going from $60 to $100? You know, that's my big thing. I have several of these still in stock. The price is going to remain for at least this run of them at $50 in shipping. So to me now, and right now, I don't see him listing a arbor driver right now, because why would he sell a used one for 75 or try and sell a used one for 75? Anyway, piece of crap. Piece of crap, piece of crap. Along with that, he's got the 7/8 milling machine arbor. And it's the arbor that came with this driver, came with this machine, I'm sure. It's a rust bucket. It's scabby looking, everything else. He wants $200 and $14 shipping. That's too much. And there again, does it run true? You know, actually, we could look at this in our little investigative thing. We won't look at it too close, but let's look at the shank that goes in the arbor, because that may tell us a little bit about the condition of the spindle itself, because I was concerned about the Morris taper. Now, there's some markings on this, nothing major, so the spindle may be fine, you know, that he's selling earlier, but not for that amount of money, not taking a chance on it. We see a little bit of corrosion on it. You know, it's sat in the spindle, and otherwise it's just gummy. You know, it's been turned in a Morris taper spindle. You can see some marking there. So anyway, I would probably still shy away from that on the bearing nose. And there's a little bit of corrosion showing there and some markings. You're probably going to see those markings anyway. That's not a big issue, but you see a little bit of corrosion clear out on the end, see a little bit of markings there. And these are ugly parts. These are just ugly parts. Original Atlas milling machine, M138, change-o-matic knob, fine used. Now, you don't see these very often. He wants $49.99 and $9.50. He also says it's in fine condition. And it's not. It's been beat to crap. Knob in fine used shape. Yeah, not really. Not really. It's got, that chrome's pretty well beat up on there, scarred up, looks like a knurling. Somebody ran into it with something there. Got a bunch of corrosion on that Zamac and stuff. Backside just dirty, yucky looking. You know, it's a usable knob, but is it in fine used condition? No. That's about a step below saying it's in excellent condition, and it's not. So anyway, that's what I see there. So nothing spectacular today. He's got the table for $200. That's no. If you look at the back side of that table, why, and I looked at the pictures of these earlier, it's not really worth spending much time on. The top looks okay. You look at the bottom side and look in this area here, it's chipped along here if you look at the close-up pictures. You know, got corrosion there, got quite a bit of corrosion underneath there, and that's not the yucky oily gunk you're seeing under here that we'll clean up. That's corrosion on there. You know, so this seller is not getting a really high rating from me. You know, like I say, he's got 100% feedback and been around forever type of thing. But these are not worth doing. Milling machine support arbor overarm support. Now there's two of these listed right in a row, and the first one appeared for $300. Which is, I think, way too much. The second one pre-owned, it's on an auction. There's 3 bids. It's to $152.50, and I believe it started at $150 and $21.15 shipping. So at this point in time, that's a pretty decent price. It's a good-looking arbor support. It looks to be in about twice as good a condition as the one below it that they want $300 for. These are both different sellers. I'm not going to even look at them. I've looked at them before, and you can go look at them. So I would expect this one, you know, is probably, I'd guess that's a $200 arbor support, is about what that should go for, or probably will go for. I hope you guys don't get in a feeding frenzy over the top of over that. So there's that. There was a couple of other little things here. T-nuts. There's those $20.99. That's from our original seller. I've got my T-nuts just about done, except to blue them. So milling machine cross-slide M15 with Gibbs screws and lock handles, $144.99. That's a rip-off, for parts are not working. That's a, you know, it's probably a reseller guy parting out machines. This is not one that I think there's about 3 of these on here right now, and they're all a little overpriced. There's one of them that's not too bad, and that's about all I see under milling machines. We could go on and look at a bunch of this other stuff, but we've looked at it before. So shapers, nothing new there that is even worthy of looking at. If we look at lathes, Atlas lathe, 12-inch 4-way tool post with 2 rockers, $88.50, no bids, $115.50, buy it now. That is for the production cross slide for the 12-inch. And the only reason I note this is you see a few of these around. The thing to note about these is the only difference between the 10-inch and the 12-inch is the height of this base piece down here. That's the only difference between the 10 and the 12, otherwise they're all the same. Now this one's pretty much original and probably in original condition, because you still see the wood spacers that they've got on at least 2 of the sides. Do we have all 4 of the, looks like maybe only 2 of the wood spacers with the rockers underneath them. But that was the way they originally shipped them, was with those little wood spacers in there. So that's pretty good condition. You know, the only reason to buy one of those is if you're running a cross slide, and I'm not convinced. I've got a couple of these for on my Atlas lathe, and I may actually change them out for quick change tool posts, you know, for a AXA style tool post on those. Good and bad to that too. So it's something I've kind of been kicking around, but I'm not sure what's going to happen yet with that. Anyway, that's that. Quick change, 12-inch quick change gearbox assembly, $600. Somebody else smoking dope. Bunch of gears that are marked Atlas Craftsman Dunlop 109, 101, 618, 6-inch metal blade change gears. I'm going to say they probably interchange between the Atlas and the Dunlop on the 6-inch, but I'm not 100% sure. So you want to verify that before you jump on change gears there. 10, 12-inch lathe saddle, 10F-9, $61, no bids. Used, pre-owned. No, this is a stripped out casting, saddle casting. It's got way wipers on it. Otherwise, I don't believe there's anything at all with this casting. Now this is completely stripped. There's some Gibbs screws in the one side. You know, castings like this, you're no better off than what you've got. We've talked about that before. Look at the wear surfaces up here on this. Look at the wear surfaces, how much down there. These are not worth buying. They're just literally not worth buying. If you are after one of these castings, it should be worth $30 maybe. Maybe. Look at look at the wear marks between where it's worn and the original surfaces. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. You know, sometimes I say I feel bad about trashing on some of this stuff. On the one hand, I do. On the other hand, when sellers start selling crap like that and parting out things like that and wanting astronomical prices, they deserve to be called out. So that's kind of the way it is, you know. keep these machines to where we can afford them. You know, comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch.